hug. Love you, man.
You too. Awesome. All right, so my presentation I created about a week ago, and it was not offensive at all. However, David Phelps kicked it off, and then John Heyer, he took it to a whole new level, right? I mean, will you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
So I kind of felt left out. So I kind of felt, hey, I mean, if nothing is offensive in my entire presentation, and just so you guys know, I'm here to encourage you and to challenge you to be a better person, to know your why, to live life on purpose, for a purpose. The more intentional you can be about the way you live, the way you run your business, the way you run your family, the better off you're going to be. And you've kind of heard that within the different things today. But I felt like at the beginning of this, if you haven't been offended yet, you'll probably be offended about this. So I also always think that you ought to give thanks to the people in your life that have always helped you. So I want to start by giving thanks to God.
Amen.
Amen.
I want to thank God for this room. I want to thank God for everybody that's here. I want to thank God for a healthy body and for a healthy wife and for healthy kids. I want to thank God for the church in my life. I want to thank God for the mission that He's given me. I want to thank God for Jim. I want to thank God for everything that God's given to me. Because at the end of the day, what profit a man if he gain his own soul, but if he gained the whole world yet lose his own soul? And I hope you guys will think about that. This is not going to entirely be a religious session, I promise you. But I did want to, if you hadn't been offended yet, maybe that might offend you. However, I also want to thank Jim. So Jim, come on, let's give Jim a hand. Nobody's really given, come on, get up here. Come on, let's give him a hand. Stand up, come on. All right. All right, you can go now.
Thank you.
I had to embarrass him just a little bit, but Jim has done an awesome job with this event. I've been coming here for the last 4 years, and it's just grown and grown. Even Jim at this last break, he's like, I can't even imagine all these people. It's just, there's so many people here. So also, thank you guys, and I know that Jim would appreciate that as well. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are an encouragement to me and the speakers, but you're also an encouragement to Jim. And Jim carries a heavy burden. He carries a heavy load. When there's deals that don't go right in the room, and there's different people that, might not like each other, or things that don't go quite right, like the leaders of those groups have to bear that, and it's not an easy thing. So I really think you guys ought to think about that and understand that. But Jim does help carry that load within a community like this, and I want to let Jim know that I really do appreciate him for that. So I'm going to start off just a little bit different here. As you guys have already seen, I've done so. I want everybody to close your eyes. And I'm going to walk around and I'm going to see if you're closing your eyes. So there's no peeking. So I want everybody to close your eyes. And I want everybody to think about the biggest issue that's in their life. Whether it's relational, whether it's in your business. I want that, and I promise you, every single person has that one thing right now they immediately went to. What is that? What is that issue? Maybe it's an employee. Maybe it's a tenant that you just can't figure out. Maybe it's your property manager. Maybe it's your boss. Maybe it's your wife. Maybe it's a relationship with your wife or a loved one. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's something you did wrong that you need to solve that problem with. And then I want you to think and just imagine that whatever that issue is solved. That issue's gone. And now I want you to imagine the best possible scenario for that situation to happen. I want you to imagine you're 10 pounds light, 20 pounds lighter. I want you to imagine you have the health and the vigor you had in your teens. I want you to imagine that your bank account has 7 figures more than it has now, or for some of you, maybe 8 figures more than it has now. For you who can't count, that's $1 million or 10 million. Your business is running perfect. You don't have any, you're happy. You are married to the love of your life. Your relationships are in perfect order. Your relationships with your kids are in perfect order. Your business is running perfect. You have the right people in every seat. You trust them completely, and they've never done anything that would make you think not to. Are you closing your eyes? I'm watching you, George. Open your eyes. Guess what? Back to reality, folks. Back to reality. I'm sorry for taking you guys, this is spa music, you think you're probably maybe getting a massage, and all of a sudden somebody wakes you up and just blows a bullhorn in your face, and you're like, you know what? This is reality. Today's talk is going to be about reality. Today's talk, a lot of people talked about a lot of ideas and a lot of things that sound amazing. It sounds perfect, right, Jim? Sounds like you'd never have an issue, but you're going to have an issue. I guarantee you, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. But not just to encourage you that you can get through it, but I am also, what I want to do is I want to encourage you, I want to challenge you, but I also want to give you guys some things today and some tools that I think may be able to help you along the way. So, just again to kind of get started, I was with Mr. Landlord in Cabo a couple weeks ago, and I'm just going to tell you, this is a tip. Cabo is like cheap Hawaii. Just so you guys know. I mean, I really thought it was really cool, right? Right, Kevin? I mean, it was really good. It's cheap, and it's great weather, so I will tell you that's a tip. Go to Cabo if you can. Something that me and my wife are doing, and it's starting tomorrow. So for you guys that don't follow Good Success on Facebook, I just do this for the next 7 days, if you will, for me. But me and my wife have been married for 23 years, and although I know there's other people in the room that have probably been married way longer and can give me twice as many tips, me and my wife said, hey, 23 years is enough to at least start giving some of our tips. And I'll be honest with you, we do not have the perfect marriage. We have had ups and downs. We have had issues. We still have issues. I am not a perfect husband. But for the next 8 days on the Good Success Facebook and all of our social media, you're going to see 7 days of marriage tips that we have. But also during this, so I have learned the secret to a happy marriage. And I feel like whenever you learn a secret, like I always want to be a conduit. I want to learn something, go to an amazing event like Jim Ingersoll's boot camp, or Jeffrey Taylor, or David Phelps, or Quest IRA. I was thinking about this today, Jim. I don't know. People ask me all the time, what other events would you recommend going to? And honestly, I don't know that there's another event that I recommend that's outside of this boot camp. So Financial Friends Network, Walter Wolford, I recommend you go to those things. I recommend people go to Jim Ingersoll's. I recommend people go to David Phelps's events and Chandler George's events and Mr. Landlord events. But everybody I recommend is in this boot camp, so it's pretty cool, amazing. But I learned the secret to a happy marriage, and I'm going to guarantee you, okay? This is a money-back guarantee. This is a guarantee you will never get in an argument with your spouse if you can obey this tip, okay? I'm gonna guarantee you. So, and it's 2 words. All right, 2 words. Anybody want to guess what they are? Yes, dear. You're right. That's right. I'm sorry. Those are all good ones. Those are really good. You guys have been trained very well. But I'm going to tell you, this works for both men and women. So that one only works for the men, right? So what I'm going to tell you is not just for the men. And I think people pick on men. I don't think it's fair. I agree with the white male status as being the only status left that doesn't have any kind of, I don't know, we're bad, I guess, apparently. But for this, it works for men, women, doesn't matter, anything, it will work in any relationship. 2 words. And it's not a word, 2 words that you should ever say. This is the secret to a happy marriage. Are you guys ready? Shut up. Do you realize that you can't say anything that you shouldn't say if you just shut up? Do you realize that most arguments should never have been made, but they do because we just say things that we shouldn't say? So, who am I? What do I do? I own a company called Olson Group. We build rental portfolios for investors. We kind of have a turnkey process. I have 2 big goals in my life. One is to give away $1 billion, and one is to flip the city of Gary, Indiana. And there's a lot of people in this room that are helping me flip the city of Gary, Indiana. They come to our Community Go-Giver event. They may be lenders, they may be buyers, and they're helping us flip the city of Gary, Indiana. And I'm going to tell you, it's happening. There are big changes happening, and I'm excited about it. It's really, I can't tell you that I had any part of it, but I can tell you I had, at least I know I'm working for it. And I think there's 2 things that I can do in that flipping Gary. The number 1 thing I can do is what I know how to do. The parts that I know how to do. And I know how to buy houses, I know how to renovate them, we know how to rent them, and then we sell them turnkey to our investors. Just so you guys know, our average deals are like $60,000 and they rent for $900. Would you guys like those numbers? And that's all fixed up with quartz or granite countertops, luxury vinyl plank, flooring, and these houses are the nicest houses in these neighborhoods. And we're really literally changing neighborhoods. We've flipped about 150 houses in those neighborhoods, 4 really nice houses, and the tenants stay much longer. We get much more for rent. They rent much quicker. And I know that we're having an impact. Even the new mayor knows who I am, and he is very appreciative of what we're doing. But also, I'm going around the country and trying to change the messaging for the city of Gary, Indiana. It's kind of had a bad blight as far as communication, similar to other cities around the country like Flint or Detroit or other areas like that. And I believe that it's time for people to stand up and say, hey, like if you go into these areas, I think there's an area around here like Petersburg, if you go into those areas and you make a difference, you can make a difference in what you're doing. But what I'm really passionate about, and kind of my passion project, is Good Success. And Good Success for me is a company that I want to help Christian entrepreneurs, I want to help purpose-driven people work better, work smarter so they can have more, so they can give more. That's why I created Good Success. So we have a mastermind, we have a local mastermind, we have a lot of people, not a lot of people, several people in this room are in one of those 2 groups. But I felt like in order to promote Good Success or this movement, I had to have a definition for what good success is. And a lot of times people are going to get up and they're going to tell you what success is. Success is to have the great car, or success is to have a great lifestyle, or success is to have the Lamborghini, or the house on the hill with a pocket full of $100 bills. But I just don't believe that that's what success is all about. And a lot of my presentation will show that as well. So I created a definition for what I believe good success is, and that is the right person doing the right thing for the right reason, with the right people, for the right amount of time. And I look at that and I say, you know what? Am I the right person all the time? No. Do I do the right thing all the time? No. Do I always have the right motives? No. Do I always do it with the right people? Normally we find this out later. No. And do I always do it for the right amount of time? So you say, Tom, why in the world are you up here telling me we need to strive? We need to work hard, we need to struggle, we need to fight for this to be the kind of success that we have. Because you know what? Wide is the gate for everybody that takes it easy. Right? But this is the gate we should be taking. Right, Paul? Narrow is the gate. This is good success. At the end of the day, are you the right person? Are you doing the right thing? Do you have the right motives? Are you doing it with the right people? And are you doing it for the right amount of time? I ask you that question, and I hope that you will take that to heart and understand that you can strive for this. This is a daily decision. And the choice every single day I have to do is I have to humble myself, because there's no way that I'm going to be the right person unless I'm humble. unless I look at myself first and I say, what can I change? How can I be the right person? And then also, how can I find those right people? And that's part of what we're going to talk about today with the filters I'm giving. I think in order to be the right person, in order to do the right thing, you have to have filters. And kind of like Mary Hart talked about, she created a checklist or a spreadsheet, and she tried to figure out what she was good at. I think you guys ought to do that with your own personal life. So like I said, we have the Good Success Mastermind. We have a boot camp coming up in February, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks away. For marketing, we have a boot camp every quarter, and then we also have a mastermind where people get together every quarter and tell everybody, hey, this is reality in my life. This is not just like pie in the sky. This is not me up pumping my chest saying how awesome I am and how many deals I've done, but holy crap, I got issues and I need help with these issues. So the Truthometer, I've got two guys in the audience. I'm going to actually give you guys a handout. So I told you guys I wanted to give, and this is what I want to give you guys. So this is something that we came up with for our local mastermind. So every single month, I have a local mastermind, and we spend 8 hours a day on the last Saturday of every month. And part of the curriculum is this Truthometer. So part of the curriculum is, so we come in the morning, first off, Wendy will like this, we do a Bible devotion. We start with prayer. That's what we do. And then we go into some training, and then we'll do the 30 Days to Good Success, and we always do a book review. So every month I give away a book to everybody in the meeting. We all promise each other we're going to read the book. And every month we have a commitment that we're going to say, hey, we're going to do this month. And then the next month we ask them, hey, did you get that done? Hey, did you buy that property you were going to buy? Hey, did you, whatever it was going to do, we hold them accountable to that. But this is one of those also accountability pieces that we have in play. So every single month, everybody is ranking themselves on a scale of a 1 to 100 in every one of these categories. And I believe and then we're tracking it for them. So let's just say like month 1, we say, like for me, I'll be honest with you, 3 months ago when I started this, I gave myself a 20 on body and wellness. And then you know what? In November, I had 3 people that I know die. And I said, you know what? If I don't lose some weight, if I don't do something about this, I'm going to die. Think about that. People that are overweight or people that don't take care of their health, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you don't have health, it doesn't matter. So I was ranking myself a 20 on a scale of 1 to 100. And this is the biggest problem in your business. Guess what? There's not a whole lot of business stuff up there. But I guarantee you this is your biggest problem in your business. It's your biggest problem in your life. And the biggest problem in your business and the biggest problem in your life is always the problem you don't know exists. And why do we not know it exists? For the most part. The reason why we don't know it exists is because we're not willing to admit it. We just simply will not be honest with ourselves. I told you I was going to give you a reality check. What are you not being honest with yourself? And we've even seen in our mastermind, guys that started with 80, 90s on some of these, month 3 and month 4, when they start getting a little bit more comfortable with the group, they're like, yeah, maybe I'm really only a 30 or a 40 in that. So I'm going to encourage you, take this home, copy it. I don't care. There's no copyright on this. Take this home and use this in your own life. Every month, I challenge you, use this Truthometer and rank yourself 1 to 100, and it's kind of like a scale. You know, I actually think the number one thing to lose weight is to weigh yourself every day. There's nothing else that's going to put that in front of your face more than giving yourself a scale, and this is kind of what it is for you. So first of all, purpose. You guys know I'm purpose-driven. I want you to live life on purpose for a purpose. So have you ever written it down? If you don't know what your purpose is for living, well, why are you living today? Can you at least tell me what's the number one thing? Why did you come here? So is your purpose clearly defined? Am I working in my purpose? And am I reaching my potential in it? So rank yourself 1 to 100 on purpose. Faith. How's your walk? Talked about this morning, right, Paul? Family. How are your relationships? How is your marriage? Do you spend quality time and you kind of sacrifice quantity time when you really need to be doing both? How about friends? This is something else that I've had to have a little bit of a weakness on until I kind of realized myself that most of my friends are like people in this room, and I just need to be okay with that, and that's not the end of the world. I love Wendy. Yes. But friendships, I mean, this is, don't you think that if you really wanted to create a lifestyle for yourself and you wanted to have good success, that these 10 items would be in that list? Isn't this more important than my business? I feel like one of the most important things that we don't ever do is we don't set priorities. So for me, I would make a list of all the roles and responsibilities that you sit in. I don't care what it is. And then rank them. So for me, I had to do this, and it was kind of hard when you started. I would tell you to do this with your employees. Force rank those. If you have to decide between one and the other, if they're both perfect, you have to decide who are you choosing. And for me, I had to say, number 1, I'm a Christian. Number 2, I'm a spouse. I'm a husband. Number 3, I'm a father. Number 4, I'm an investor. Before I'm a business owner, I'm an investor. And then I'm a business owner. But then, silly me, went back and took my own advice, and I said, well, how much time am I spending in all those? And then I really determined what my real priorities were. I can tell you what your priorities are by looking at 2 things: your schedule and your money. You tell me those are your priorities, but are you really spending time and are you really spending money on those things? Your body, your wellness, diet, exercise, how are you doing in that? I know for me, I wasn't doing so well. December 1st, I was 235. And I said, you know what? This isn't going to happen anymore. By the end of 2020, I'm going to be 200 pounds. And lots of people have seen me, and they're like trying to give me snacks and all these wonderful, awesome treats. And I'm like, no, stop. Don't give this to me. And I'm down 15 pounds since December 1st. So I'm already on my way, and I'm going to make that happen. My number 1 and number 2 goals for this year is to make sure I'm at 200 and to have more trust in God. Those are my number 1 and number 2 goals for this year. Business, how is my business doing? Guess what? This is part of your plan, right? This is part of what we should probably be tracking. We asked the guys, and I asked you, how is your business doing? How is your budgets doing? Do you have a budget? I promise you, you will create more wealth by creating a budget than by going and finding another deal. Right, Dave? Dave's going to talk tomorrow about that. I'm going to promise you, every expense that you can cut personally or in your business, where does that go? It goes directly to the bottom line. You cannot make more money by doing more deals. You make more money by cutting expenses, if you really want to make money. Every time. I don't care. You will not find a scenario where that's not true. If you do not have a personal budget, get on it. If you don't have a business budget, if you're not tracking those things, get on it. Time. Where are you spending your time? Everybody has been given the same amount of time. And I believe our 4 core values at our work is charity, stewardship, community growth. And stewardship is this is where we're at now, is in stewardship. I've been given so much time. And I have to use that time to the best of my ability. So how are you using your time? Not about how much time you have or how much free time you have. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how much free time you have if you're not really using the time you have for the purpose that you were created and designed to be able to do. I don't think so. So time, treasure. I believe that you ought to create wealth. I really do. Yes, do I want to work to have to give? Do I want to be the conduit, not a bucket? Absolutely, but you ought to create wealth. I believe that there is gold and oil in the till of the wise. I believe that. So what does that mean? You have to create wealth. I believe in financial freedom. I don't believe in financial freedom to sit on a beach. I don't believe in that. I believe in financial freedom so you can get to that purpose and so you can really go and figure out why you were created and make that happen. So how are you doing on your financial freedom plan? How are you doing on your wealth building? If you don't have a financial freedom plan, please talk to me. I've got one for you, and there's actually one in the 30-day book I can help you with. And giving. I actually think giving is all there is to do with living. Like, I love to give. It is very easy for me to give, and I know for some people it's hard. I have to actually say no sometimes to giving because it's just so easy for me to want to give. But I do think that everybody should be giving. And then your talent. Now, when I say talent, I don't mean like how talented are you. A couple of our guys in our mastermind kind of got this confused. They're like, well, I'm not really that talented, so I gave myself a 2. And I'm like, no. Everybody here knows something. We got a guy over here that's doing video. Well, guess what? Is he using that skill? Yes, he's using that talent. So I would ask you, what has God given you? What talents have you been given? And it's not just talents, it's experiences. You have been given experiences that nobody else has been given. Are you using those things to help somebody else, or are you just keeping it all in for yourself? Think about it. All right, so that's the truthometer, and I'm challenging you guys to take these home, steal it from me. I don't even care if you repackage it in your own logo and say you came up with it. I don't care, but use it, because I really do believe if you'll rank yourself every single month, it's like weighing yourself every single day. And I really do believe it'll help you. All right, Good Success Mastermind. We also have our Q2 Family Office Boot Camp. How many of you guys have ever heard of Family Office? Not a single person? Has anybody heard of Family Office in here? 3. Okay. All right. So I have created a great relationship with a man named Richard Wilson. Richard Wilson runs a super large group with about 2,000 families that are worth $100 million or more, or offices that help handle the family's money. And you know what's funny is that the rich people, the ultra rich people in this world, have the exact same problems that you do, except it's multiplied. So you think you got it rough because you're trying to figure it out and you're struggling. I promise you they have the exact same struggles. They have the exact same 3 problems. I believe that there's 3 things that keep you from your purpose. There's 3 things that keep you from doing what you were created to do. Anybody want to guess what they are? Okay, I'll just tell you. Number 1, pride. Pride will keep you. If you think you know it all, you'll never get help. Pride also keeps us from helping everybody because we might learn and soak it all in and we might get it all, but guess what? We're not willing to give and we're not willing to help anybody else. The second thing that will keep people from is fear. You don't think that rich people have fear? Think about it, they have way more to lose. So everything that they do is exponential. But you know what? It leaves clues. Because if they don't do the right thing, and if they don't set up things properly, it's exponential disaster. I have a woman who's in my life, and she's, between her and her husband, they're probably worth about $300 million. And she told me her biggest fear is that her kids will end up like some of her family members did. Try carrying that burden around. That's not easy. But I'm going to tell you what they've learned in the ultra wealthy, the wealthiest of wealthy people. What they've learned is that all the money is typically gone. 80% of the time it's gone by generation 3. Why do you think that is? And then there were some studies to figure out the 20%. So they went and looked at the 20%. They said, what did these families do that the other families didn't do? So we're going to do a boot camp about it. And I've learned what this is. And we're going to do a boot camp about this specifically for our mastermind. So the very first thing that they do is they actually have their family story written on paper. Mr. Ghani. Yes, sir? That man has an incredible story. If you don't know what his story is, you should talk to him. Take him out, and he will tell you. But I'm telling you, everybody, your family needs to know what your story is. You are doing them a disservice by not writing that family story down. I talked to a 4th-generation, multi-billionaire family, and he's originally from the Philippines. And guess what? This was the #1 key thing that their family did. The old man that made all the money wrote his story down. I know this sounds stupid. This home-to-home book you might think is very insignificant. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. And the guy that helped her with that's in my mastermind. He's awesome. He was a school teacher 3 years ago. Just started 3 years ago. He's awesome. But the very first thing that they say to do is write your family story. The second thing they say to do is write your core values. I did a little bit of this last time here, but we teach this, in business. Write your core values down, your core principles. What are your things that your non-negotiables about your business? But why haven't we done it with our family? Is our family really more important than our business, or do our actions speak differently? We spend thousands of dollars going on off-site trips in our business, and we spend days creating plans. We spend hours, and I'm paying people to help create these plans. But if I'm not going to do this in my family, what am I telling my family? You're not really as important as my business. But the core values is the second most important thing that the ultra-wealthy have said. Hey, if David Rockefeller said, live frugally, give generously, and always save 10%, that's Rockefeller's top 3 habits, those 3. Live frugally. Well, you think that the rich lifestyle is like the car and all the stuff? Nuh-uh. David Rockefeller in the 20s may have been the richest man that ever lived if you look at the way lifestyles, maybe other than Solomon, I think, who said maybe worth a couple $100 trillion today. But core values, and then think about this. You guys know 200 years ago, the ultra-wealthy families had logos. Have you ever thought about that for your family? They had crests. You go to one of those families' houses, you go to Vanderbilt, you go to those old massive places, and guess what? They had a family crest. Why? Because they said, I am going to stand for something. This is what our family stands for. And we want to do this in our business. Guess what? You've seen my logos in my business. But do I have a family logo or a family crest? I don't have it. This is where I'm at. I've done the core values. I'm writing the story. So crest building, family bonds and relationship issues. Guess what? Every family has issues. And the wealthy, it's just multiplied. I promise you. All right, life insurance. You know that wealth is built in life insurance, maybe much more than almost anything else we've talked about this week. We haven't really talked about life insurance. If you're a young kid and you get married, the very first thing you ought to do is get life insurance. And that's on you guys. Life insurance is very important, I promise you. Mission statements, IRAs and self-directing and family legacy, business strategy. You should be telling your kids this. This is how people used to let their wealth be known for generations and generations. We should be leaving that legacy to our generation, the next generation's next generation. And then tax strategy, family planning, family unique. What sets your family apart? Doesn't this sound pretty familiar from anybody who's gone through EOS or gone through anything in your business? But why aren't we doing this in our home? And then I think Mary did an amazing job about this, but you ought to have a plan for the way you're going to leave your money, the way you're going to leave your business, and the way you're going to leave any other assets. But to me, this is only part of the legacy planning. It's not, in my opinion, the core values, the story, all those things are so much more important than just understanding the money part. And I think most families, when they get to the end of their time, they're like, hey, I really think charities should be part of our plan. These are the things that we want to give to. So that's something that we're doing in Q2, but I just wanted to give a little bit of training on why we're doing all that. So the opportunity filter is the next part. So if you guys flip your page over, Mary actually did she talked a little bit about this with her own personal, she said, and she did it a little bit different than we do, but this actually came out of our national mastermind. So many guys get shiny object syndrome, and you're going to get that in this week, right? I promise you. You probably already thought, oh crap, I need to do this. Oh wait, I need to do this. Oh wait, I need to go over here. Oh wait, I need self-storage. Oh wait, I need to do multifamily. Oh wait, I need to do rentals. Oh no, I need to do lending. Okay, stop. Back to reality. I challenge you to use something like this. If you don't use my filter, if you don't use our filter that we've come up with some amazing, high quality, elite real estate entrepreneurs, find your own filter. So think about this. I think what we normally say is, does this make more money? And if it makes more money, okay, I'm sold. But isn't there some other parts of the equation that we ought to be thinking about when it comes to a decision? If I'm going to do wholesaling or rentals, shouldn't I at least give them some apples to apples? So I've given that to you guys here. So the first one is make more money. The second one is, does it take more or less of my team's time? You know, your return on time ought to be just as valuable to you as your return on your money or your return on anything else. So your return on time is something you ought to rank. Again, rank this 1 to 100. The uniqueness in the market for this proposition. Are you the only game in town? Think about that. I love Gary, Indiana, but most of the local other investors in my market don't even know what's going on. They don't even know that we've sold 12 houses in flip areas for 120, and we only paid 30 for these houses in those same areas that they think, oh, we can't do anything in. So, but what is your uniqueness in your market? Does it have lower taxes? Guess what? Wholesaling does not have lower taxes. Fix and flipping does not have lower taxes. So you should, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's a different business model. Maybe you want to be a property manager. Maybe you want to, I challenge you to rank these. Does it include reoccurring revenue? This is a big one. I love reoccurring revenue. Does it contain more or less business risk or legal risk? Fix and flipping has risk. Ask Jim. Ask anybody else who's been sued. Does it have larger scale? Now, some people only look at scale and they say, if it's scalable, I want to do it. But if it doesn't make any money and it takes all your time, is it really the best opportunity? Does that make sense? All right, does it seem more enjoyable? Does it have more leverage of time, money, or energy? I love being able to use leverage. But if it's only leverage and it has a lot of risk, I'm not sure. All right, supply and demand in the market. This is the last one on that opportunity filter. So I just wanted to give that to you guys, and I just wanted to let you guys know. I'm telling you, we use this in our business almost on a weekly basis. So whether or not we're going to go down this direction or go down this direction, we are using this opportunity filter, and I felt like it might be a help to you guys. So hopefully you guys will take that, and I hope that you guys will like it. So, and then the last thing you ought to be looking at is to wrap all of that up in the opportunity filter is, where do I fit in? What can you add to the equation? Maybe you have knowledge in certain parts of this, or maybe you don't. Maybe it might be hundreds on every single thing, but you don't have a clue what you're doing. Does that make sense? So hopefully that will help you guys, and it'll be good for you guys. So use the opportunity filter. I challenge you guys, and I just wanted to give that to you guys as well. So we also have the Community Go-Giver. So we have the Community Go-Giver Club, which is every month. It meets in our office, but we have an event each year called the Community Go-Giver event. And in that event last year, we had to say, hey, just like what is good success, we had to come up with what is a Community Go-Giver.
One Sunday evening from that hotel, a gentleman was beaten
last year I ended up with a nonprofit called the Community Go-Giver nonprofit. So we are just using that to be able to have a positive impact in the community. It's very liberal for us to be able to give almsgiving or to give to charities, but we're really just trying to figure out who needs help and try to get the help to the people that they need help. Have you guys ever just gone to Walmart or Target or wherever you shop, Wegmans, and just paid for the person behind you? I challenge you to do that. You know, and it might feel hard. You might think to yourself, well, I don't need to do that. But you know what? At the end of the day, why don't you just be selfish a little bit and do it? It is the most selfish thing that you can do, is to go out and give. At the end of the day, we are promised that we will reap what we sow. It is a guarantee. It is a guarantee. The more you give, the more you get back. It doesn't matter. You know, like in a room like this, I could think to myself, hey, I want to spend all my time talking to all the hot shots. But you know what I try to focus on when I come here is people like Justin, who said, I'm a brand new wholesaler. And I said, you know what you need to do? You need to go find all the buyers in this room, and you need to say, hey, like, I need to connect you with this guy. I need to connect you with this girl. Because you know what? Who knows what Justin's going to be? You never know what those kids might be that you're thinking of that are in drug trouble or are in problems. You have no idea what's going through their life. I promise you, our pastor used to say this when he was on the radio, be kind to everybody because everybody is going through a tough time. You have no idea the impact that you can have, and you have no idea that everything you do is having an impact. You get to choose whether it's going to be a positive impact or we're just going to be a bunch of whiny crybaby Americans. You get to make that choice. So I challenge you to have a positive impact on your community. I don't care if it's your community you live in or if it's your family, it's your spouse, it's your church, or this community. I challenge you, find somebody and help them. Be the connector, be the conduit, not the bucket. We do have an event every year. I always want to mention it. It's called the Community Go-Giver event. A lot of people in this room have been there. Thank you guys so much for supporting our efforts. This year is going to be just a hair different, so I do want to let you guys know about that. But I do have a little bit of a 30-second video about that. We are making a difference in Gary. And every impact I want to have, I want it to be a positive impact. I know I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not always going to be that right person. I'm not always going to do the right thing. But I'm going to strive for it. And I hope and I encourage you and I want you guys to come along with me. So again, we cannot discount these tickets because 100% of ticket sales this year, which is what we're doing different, is going to go to community go-givers. So you guys saw some of those community go-givers, like people that came last year. So intertwined with some real estate talk and some teaching you guys about how to have better handles on different things, we're also going to have these 5 to 10, 15, kind of like Jim's been doing with people, with community go-givers in the market, and I want to be able to give all the money that we have brought in from those ticket sales to those people during that meeting. So it's my goal to raise $30,000 this year for the community go-giver. The other thing I do need is I do need sponsors. So the sponsors you have to pay, and I'm hoping the sponsors will pay for the event. So if you guys know sponsors or anybody that would want to have a booth or want to speak and has something left for that, also help me out with that. Something else that I've done, so I have written a couple books. I want to let everybody know that these are free. So a lot of people have already have this book, but I want to make sure that if you don't already have this book, that you get a copy of this book. It's out there at our table. Dan will be happy to be able to give you this Active Turnkey book. It does show you how to buy, the best way to buy rentals, but it also kind of has a mini financial freedom plan in here as well. So I want you guys to get that. I don't have this book with me, but it is on Amazon, and I want to let people know, everybody has problems with contractors. How many people have problems with contractors? Raise your hand. Okay, I'm in a room filled with people that are just like me. But I have written this book, Investors versus Contractors, and right now the only place I believe you can buy it is on Amazon, so I do want to let people know about it, because I do think that there is a common sense approach to dealing with contractors. I started as a contractor, so I know both sides of this world. So I really thought that this would be something. And then I also have written the 30 Days to Good Success, which I have actually also created an 8.5-hour course for this book. So how many of you guys have gotten this? Quite a few people already. So I've created a digital course for this book. The book does sell on Amazon for $50. We do have, there's 31 videos. It's 8.5 hours worth of content. And it's about you. It's about you being, finally saying, hey, enough is enough. I'm gonna start being honest with myself, and I'm gonna know why I'm here on this earth, and I'm gonna create a budget, and there's gonna be lots of, it's actually a pretty hard book. So I'm going to tell you, again, narrow is the gate. There's not a lot of many people that are going to say, I really want to do this because I know it's going to be hard. It's going to take the people that really say, hey, I'm going to step up, and I want to be the right person. I want to do the right thing, and I want to have the right motives, and I want to be prepared. At the end of my life, I want to live my life hoping that there's somebody else that thanks God that I live my life. That's how I want to live my life. And so also we get, you'll have a journal and a pen that you'll get for free. And also the high quality t-shirt, which I just want to let you guys know. Jim told me that this t-shirt is his favorite t-shirt. So just you knowing that the value on that is priceless. So we do have this for $5.95. But of course, we're doing a 50% off. And really, just because I love Jim so much, we're giving an extra $100 off. So for that whole pack, it's only $197 for this. And if you can't get that, I would encourage you guys, at least get the book. I promise you. A money-back guarantee. If you're not happy with it, if you think that it's not valuable, I would tell you to get the book. And then if you guys do want these slides, you guys already kind of have half the slides on that paper, but if you guys do want the slides, you can text that number to receive these slides. And remember, you can do it! Thank you so much.
Hey,